Hi there, and welcome to Fantasy for the Ages, the show where a father and son sit down and talk about some fantasy books. I'm the son of that equation, Zach.
And I'm the father, Jim. It's great to have you with us again here today. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Don't know if you're a first-timer or if you've been around lots and lots, but just like to get it out of the way off the bat. If you enjoy what you're going to hear today and you're not already one of our Patreon supporters, we invite you to join our Fantasy for the Ages family. Find us on patreon.com at Fantasy for the Ages and jump into all the extra benefits that come with that. We appreciate the support, but we really enjoy having patrons who then come along with us in our live recordings. We've got one here today. I think we're going to see some more before we're done jumping into, and it just is a much richer way to enjoy our podcast.
Oh yeah, definitely gives me most of my laughs, so that way, instead of laughing at your corny jokes, I laugh at their good ones.
And the memes. There's serious memeage that shows up on our Discord server during these live recordings. We can't give them true justice as we describe them on the podcast. You just gotta be here to really get the laughs. We'll also encourage you, if you like what you hear today, if you've been enjoying the podcast, get out there and rate us, review us anywhere you download your content, especially Apple Podcasts. That's pretty prevalent. Let people know what you're thinking of the podcast and help us spread even farther. So, Zach, how are you doing today?
Well, it's been a long and interesting day. I had a heck of a time at work. I was sweating inside with AC on because I was running.
Why were you running?
Because I had to, just, keeping doctors on schedules and stuff like that. It just involved a lot of moving very quickly and making sure everything went as smoothly as possible. So I was panicking so that no one else had to, or at least none of the providers had to.
Now, I'm thinking you're showing your worth as an employee there, because I'm pretty sure not everybody else would have hustled quite so much.
No. There were some of us who were hustling like me, and then there were some who didn't need to as much, or just, didn't. But am I really going to fault any of the ones that are pregnant? Absolutely not. They're allowed to not run.
And it was some of this low man on the totem pole peon hustling. You're the one that gets to run because you're the newest.
No, some of it was, even though I'm new, people coming to me and going, hey, do you know? And I'm like, no, but I can find out.
Well, way to be there, Zach. Showing your worth, demonstrating what a is all about. Oh, I don't usually say our last name. I guess I'll probably bleep that out now.
I mean, we say it. It's definitely listed in all of our things.
Well, it isn't anymore, actually, and we only said it for
not?
the first 3 episodes of the podcast, and then we quit saying it. It just became the Zach and Jim show.
I mean, if you noticed, I didn't say it in those beginning few episodes because I was sitting here going, maybe I want to stay anonymous, I don't know, and immediately you said it, and I was like, oh, well, okay.
And it's not like we're hiding who we are, but yeah, I was like, it's not a thing usually. You just stick with the first names, or, of course, half the people out here stick with pseudonyms. So maybe we're actually Fred and George.
Anyways, how have you been, Dad? I'm imagining you don't get quite as active during your workday.
I don't. I do a lot of sitting for my job, but it's still very active. And today, my goodness, the time flew because I've been gone the last 8 days. Nominally on vacation time and the Thanksgiving holiday, but it was really all about driving 4,000 miles, 2,000 miles each way, to get your sister's stuff all the way to Minnesota for her big move. So we had 2 days in between to just relax a little with family, and then a lot of driving. And so I had a mountain of work waiting for me when I got back, and today just flew by. So I wasn't sweating, but I'm also exhausted and am ready to just relax and enjoy some podcasting with you.
Now, something I see in the Discord reminds me of something I actually wanted to ask you. Have you started watching Hawkeye at all yet?
I have not. I've seen it out there,
right,
but I haven't watched it.
We'll have to talk about that once we've both had a chance to see more of it then.
There's only so much goodness out there we can get to at a time.
Oh, yeah.
Something I have started, not on a show, But in a book is I'm finally reading The Magicians, as you recommended, by Lev Grossman.
And how are you finding it so far?
Oh, so far so good. It's got a nice, entertaining tone to it. I'm about 20% into the first book. I'm going to keep reading. I'm enjoying it at this point.
See, I was all set for you to say that you were about 20 pages in and laugh about it, but that was not the case.
No, a little further than that. Yes. What are you drinking today, Zach?
I starting off pretty light, just having a beer, Blue Moon. Nothing too crazy, but in a way, kind of accurate.
Okay.
What are you drinking, Dad?
I made a wattail for today, yes. I created and I introduced to you the Ilianer iced tea.
Which means?
You know how I enjoy a Long Island iced tea. So I created something a little fresh and different that leans into that, but in a Randland type of way.
What's it got?
Well, it's got a lot of alcohol. The ingredients and a picture will be on our Instagram. They're already in our Discord channel. But it's got, the usual culprits. Vodka, gin, tequila, triple sec, and rum with some sour mix. And then a little cranberry juice, giving it the
there
pinkness.
We go.
Yeah.
I was curious what was going to be different. What was going to be unusual beyond, the name.
Well, as we'll learn today, in Ilian, things can get a little pink. Little splash of red. Thus the drink's appropriate.
I don't know. I feel like that was a little forced.
I'm trying. All right, let's get to some notes here, and then we'll jump into our content.
Yes, please.
We have 3 new nations to welcome to Fantasy for the Ages.
What?
Yeah, it's been a busy time. It's been about a week and a half since our last live recording, so a little more time for people to find us. But we now welcome the nations of Spain, Japan, and the Dominican Republic. Whoop, whoop.
Now, notably, I want to add the last of those 3 I think we literally just had, because I checked our notes earlier in the day and we only had 2 new countries, but now we have 3. So that's exciting. It's happening all the time.
That's right. Dominican Republic was just sliding in right there at the end. Absolutely. I also want to share with everybody here, we've got a special opportunity coming up to connect with us and a whole bunch of other Wheel of Time content creators next weekend. That would be specifically December 11th and 12th, 2021. When this episode drops, that's still coming, so there will be time for them to definitely still catch this. This is a charity live stream on YouTube called What a Holiday, raising money for the Lightweaver Foundation, which is a charity that Brandon Sanderson created to basically bring some happiness and goodness to people who are a little in need. We will be part of this on the last 2 hours of the 24-hour time span. So that means at 5 p.m. Eastern on Sunday or 2 p.m. Pacific, my time, we come on with a Fantasy for the Ages time slot where we will be bringing on 3 guests, the creators from the World Hoppers podcast. We're going to have a great discussion, all focused on the Wheel of Time TV series, which we will not be talking about today. We're saving it for the good times when we get on this live stream. Be a great discussion, some hot takes, probably a lot of things people will agree with, but we'll try to raise some controversy.
I'll be honest, probably a lot of things that I will say that people won't, and that's okay.
We have already agreed that we'll keep our conversation similar in style to what we do normally on our podcast, so it'll be spoiler light. People who jump in with us don't have to worry that we're going to be spoiling the rest of the books. Anything we talk about will full spoil the episodes that will be out by then, which will be the first 6 episodes.
But nothing about implications from book knowledge of what that might be way down the road. Nothing like that.
Exactly. So people should be safe to come and enjoy. And as Jordo says in the Discord, maybe not read all of the things being dropped in the YouTube chat during it. We can't control that.
Yes.
Will have said it's spoiler light, but sometimes people do what people do. So watch for that. But right after that, the final hour of the live stream is then Watchionary, game show style based on Pictionary with Wheel of Time content. You and I have been invited on to be guests again to play the game. So 2 straight hours of Jim and Zach to finish out the live stream. We hope people will come and enjoy and check out the first 22 hours if they want to. There's lots of good content out there, but definitely catch the last 2 hours.
Notably, to the best of my knowledge, neither of us will be drawing in that last hour, which is a very good thing because we are not artistically talented in that way.
Hey, it didn't help that last time we played, we didn't draw, and I was still horrible. You did pretty good. I
did okay.
Crashed and burned. I'm just hoping for a little redemption this time. 2 more pieces of business. On this 4,000-mile trip I just did, your mother and I listened through our back catalog of the entire Eye of the World episodes, and then into the first 2 episodes of The Great Hunt. For all of you who have listened to us from the beginning, again, thank you, and my apologies. We were a little rough in the beginning.
Yeah, oops.
But we got
we're
better.
We're still probably a little rough, but we're much better
sometimes.
Than we were.
Yes, indeed. It was fun to see the progression of the podcast as we kind of got into our groove and improved our skills. And, the content was still good, but seeing how we got a little better at delivering it, and I think more entertaining as we went, was fun to experience. It was also cool for your mother because it was like a reread, for her to go through this now, since she's still now in the 4th book, The Shadow Rising. She really appreciated being able to understand the foreshadowing, the things to come now, that some of which have come true. That was cool.
I honestly color me surprised and impressed, because I'm pretty sure in some of those earlier episodes we made comments saying Mom would never, ever be a listener. And she proved us wrong.
Yeah, she's the one that asked to listen. So that was great. We get the Judy thumb of approval. I'm not sure about 2 thumbs, but a thumb of approval, because she listened to all those episodes. Finally, I want to give a shout out because we have a new Patreon supporter.
Yes, this I think is some of, in my opinion, our most exciting news to be able to share.
Absolutely. A new patron, Jason Enberg, is a Brooks tier supporter on Patreon for us now. Now, regular listeners, you've already benefited from Jason's involvement as a Twitter follower and one of our Discordians. His ideas and contributions as Gentle Giant Jason have been mentioned before. It's great to have him now more officially with us, and hopefully we'll see him in some live recordings from time to time.
I'm definitely looking forward to it.
So, Jason, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, your support means a lot. All right.
Shall we get into some actual Wheel of Time?
Let's do it. Let's get to some content. We're 2 chapters today.
Okay.
We're starting with chapter 43, Shadow Brothers.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Where are we? Where are we when we pick this up, Zach?
We're in Ilion. Technically, we're still an inn called Easing the Badger. You did not bring that drink back this time. Figured 2 episodes was enough.
Yes. Did you recall, because we didn't mention this in our last episode, that this was the 2nd appearance of Easing the Badger in the Wheel of Time?
Is it?
It is. And I know this fresh in my mind because of that recent re-listen I did to former episodes of ours.
Was it mentioned, or Easing the Badger was mentioned, or the inn was mentioned?
The inn itself was mentioned. This is, Emmeline just nailed it down there in Discord. This is where Baal Doman had his meeting early in the Great Hunt. When they were once again trying to get him and his ship to head to Tyr or Mayen, to head that direction, and then he decides to go somewhere safe.
I can't decide whether that's really, really cool, or if it just works out that it's cool, but it really was Robert Jordan doing the lazy thing that I usually do as a DM and just use the same locations for different people in them, because they won't know.
Nah, I just think it's cool. It's a nice place to go. It was clearly, in this book, we noted how it's a place where there's barely ever any issues. It's a pleasant place. I could see it would be a nice place for him to have met with somebody.
This is the hip-hop in an inn. Got it.
There you go. Of course, it hasn't been a great place this particular evening that we're at.
I mean, it was great until the 6 gray men came up out of nowhere and there was a whole fight, and suddenly there are 6 dead gray men.
As we pick up in the action, those 6 gray men are still being dragged out of the building by the bouncer, Billy. And Moraine, she's just left on some mission, all on her own. No one could go with her. Wouldn't let Lan accompany her. So Lan here is walking over to Perrin, and he's saying, hey, Moraine and I couldn't even sense these gray men. I mean, that's kind of how they are. Their evilness is so sheltered and shielded. They can slip right up on you and you never see them coming. How did you see them in time to warn us all and we could fight them off. And Perrin reveals...
Well, as it turns out, gray men, though they are great at making you not notice them, that has more to do with maybe some sound or your vision. Does nothing about their smell. They need to take a shower.
Emmeline says they are stinky. But the average person doesn't smell them. It's more, as Jordo says, wolfy radar. You know, his scents are heightened.
His wolfdar.
So he could smell them, but the average person still wouldn't have smelt anything. Perrin does mention he'd smelt this same smell a couple times before, also earlier in their journey following Rand. But it was like just a whiff, and then it faded away, because whatever was causing it wasn't there anymore.
Mm-hmm. Lan puts two and two together and basically says, yeah, Perrin, you were smelling ones that were after Rand. We were also following Rand. So you caught their trail, but you didn't catch them. Now you did.
Yeah, now you catch them because they weren't following Rand anymore. This batch, they were after you.
Oh no.
Lan suggests, let's take a look outside, see if there's any more signs of danger out there. He's really inviting Perrin and Loyal to join him. Perrin, because, you know, you've got eyes that might pick up something I haven't seen.
Mm-hmm.
And Loyal, because you're just good to have around in a tough situation. Zareen, of course, accepts the invitation as well.
She never fails to volunteer herself.
Oh, outside, she comments in an impressed tone about the chair leg that Perrin is still holding as a weapon. The chair that she saw him literally rip apart to create a weapon as the Greymen were attacking. She's like, you're a strong one. And Perrin can't help but react to the praise, and he starts to stand a little taller, and then he's like, what am I doing? I don't want to be impressed by this woman. And then he starts slouching, and I picture him going up and down, trying to figure out, what the heck should I do? It's a funny moment.
It's that weird moment when you're suddenly conscious of your own behavior, your standing, and all that. And you can't really decide because you get in your own head about, well, now it's because of her, no matter what you choose.
And he's really annoyed by himself. In the midst of a time like this, they've just been attacked by Greymen, they're looking for danger, and his mind is all spun around by a girl. Seriously?
Honestly, not that strange of a thing for a man his age, but you know, is what it is.
Well, while outside, they do find something troubling. Footsteps in the stone block, like the hitching post, that's just outside the inn. Lan shares, these are from a dark friend.
No.
Not dark friend, sorry. A dark hound.
That would be very, very interesting, though.
That would be a very, very heavy dark friend if he could put footsteps in stone.
Maybe he's not so rotund. He's just, like, hot-footed.
Hot-blooded. Okay. Anyways, the dark hound, Lan explains, is a creature that leaves no marks in dirt, not even mud, but always in stone. It's one of the shadow spawn, but we haven't seen dark hounds south of the Blight since the Trolloc Wars, 2,000 years ago, and we're about as far south from the Blight as you can get here down in Ilion. He assumes this one found them in the inn. The fact it's not here now is because it must have gone back to its master to share what it discovered. Crap. That's not good.
That means there's something worse somewhere. There's always a bigger fish.
Serene's like, dark hounds, seriously? What else are we supposed to believe? And Lan's like, no, trust me. Dark hounds, Greymen, Murdril, I mean, they're all quite real. But these dark hounds, they're harder to kill than any of them.
Well, that sucks. Also kind of makes me wonder and go, why haven't we encountered them yet? Are they in limited supply? What's the dark holding back?
I would assume they are in limited supply, and I think we'll talk about that a little later in this episode. Lan takes this moment then to offer Zareen another chance to part ways. Okay, now we got dark hounds here, okay? This stuff is seriously dangerous, and honestly, you don't know so much that you still couldn't go away. I'm sure Moraine would be willing to release you as long as you swear not to follow. In fact, he says, I will accept that promise on her behalf right now.
I feel like he really doesn't want her to go, or he just doesn't understand. Because, like, the more chances you give someone to leave, the more they're going to double down and never leave.
I'm wondering what we should be thinking about Zareen, that everyone wants to get rid of her.
But do they? Or are they just, like, aware that she's too stubborn for her own good?
Well, she certainly is stubborn, because she persists. She will not be frightened off, she says. Even though Perrin can smell with that super sniffer, she is indeed quite frightened right now. Perrin wants to know why Lan and Moraine couldn't sense the Darkhound, being it was so close by, and Lan cryptically shares, well, there's an answer for that I think we'd all rather not think about, because it would mean something that could kill us all. What do you think he's referencing, Zach?
Am I supposed to put together that in some way, shape, or form, something more powerful is able to cloak that, more or less?
That's the only thing that comes to mind for me. I think that's what he's hinting at.
Because that's terrifying, especially because
exactly.
The only thing that really makes sense to be of that power that we know of, at least, would be something like a Forsaken.
Well, let's carry on and see if that's where we're going. He's going to, in light of this information, chase after Moraine. He's like, she didn't know about this. Okay, she said I wasn't supposed to go with, but she's in over her head now. If she's got a Darkhound out there that we can't sense, she's in mortal danger. So you guys go inside, get some sleep. I don't think we're going to be here very long. I'm going to go chase her down. Get what rest you can. And quickly off he goes.
I have to ask, did we comment last episode, does this inn have an Ogier bed?
It does.
I just had to know because I had to figure out whether or not they were actually going to sleep here tonight or not.
Because you had the theory that, let's watch and see what happens.
The moment there's an Ogier bed, we're not sleeping here.
Right. So I have good news for everyone. Loyal goes to his room and hits the sack. Yay! And Perrin heads to his room to hit the sack, and Zareen heads to Perrin's room to hit his sack.
Wait, that sounds painful.
That does, doesn't
I don't like it.
Perrin's now bent over, making bad noises. No.
So what actually happens?
Okay, Zareen doesn't want to leave Perrin, is what really happens. And he's like, no, girl, shoo, don't bother me. And she goes to her own room. He goes into his room. He quickly gets out of his clothes, just his small clothes are remaining, crawls into bed, gets comfortable because he wants to fall asleep. Not because he needs sleep, though it wouldn't hurt. But his goal is to do something else. What's he up to, Zach?
He needs to dream, technically.
And just dream?
His goal is to reach the so-called wolf dream.
Yes.
So that he can see what he can find there.
He's got a buddy there he'd like to get some information out of, if it works out.
A buddy who, as of recently, has been chasing him out every time he stumbles in there.
True.
So, who knows how helpful he's going to be.
He's going to try to be persistent here, though. But Perrin is still developing his skills when it comes to dreaming, so he can't just, dream himself into the special wolf dream. He can just hope he ends up there. And that's not where he ends up at first.
I'd like to point out here that this is the first time as this kind of ability has started to be aware in Perrin that he's really slept in a place this populated.
Okay.
And I think that has a lot to do with what kind of starts going on here.
Maybe. Because what does start going on is he's seeing all sorts of dreams. Just not the one he's looking for. There's some dreams that are kind of sketchy, scary ones. There's some weird ones. But in between a whole bunch of them, he keeps seeing this one vision of a man who is holding a shining sword-like thing. Perrin's not sure it really is a sword, but something like a sword, but shining.
You mean a sword that is not a sword?
It's like a lightsaber, maybe. I love going back to the lightsaber. It could be.
Even though I feel like it doesn't make sense, but is that because of my own failings? Maybe.
Vroom, vroom, vroom. Anyways.
Okay. Did I ever tell you the story where Hayden Christensen,
yes,
when he first was filming, thought
yes,
he had to make the noises because they told him that, and then no one told him, they just put it in post?
I believe you mentioned it the last time I made a bad lightsaber joke, actually.
Did I? It's worth it.
Well, this guy who's got this shining sword is laughing triumphantly, and he just keeps showing up again and again. It's like it's on repeat. It's the little clip that shows up between everybody else's weird dreams in his head. Whatever. He doesn't know what this all means, but thankfully, eventually, he gets past all this nonsense, and he's in the wolf dream. And once he's there, his goal is to find Hopper, so he starts calling for Hopper. Hopper!
Okay.
Hopper! And Hopper doesn't show up. Nothing.
Oh.
But he does see something else appear. First, he sees a circle of darkness show up in front of him.
Okay, so that's never good.
Yeah, well, no, this is okay because it's like a view screen. Because once the circle's there, then he can see through it. And what he sees is Matt. And Matt's rolling a dice cup. Now, that's not so unusual. Matt likes his gaming.
Yeah.
But he's playing against somebody who has eyes of fire. And Matt doesn't seem to notice this person has eyes of fire. Who would we know this opponent must be, Zach?
Well, the only person we've really seen with Eyes of Fire is, I don't know, some guy called Balsamon? Whoever that is.
Or Ballsy, as Jordo drops in the Discord there. It's a fun nickname.
I mean, he'd have to be pretty ballsy to bet against Matt.
He would be. So he tries to shout out to Matt. Matt, you're playing against Balsamon, dude! But nothing. The vision just fades away. All right, that's gone. Still no Hopper. He starts calling out for Hopper again. And this time, he remembers, don't just look around. Hopper can fly here. So he looks up and he calls up to the sky. And another black circle shows up.
Well, this is new.
We should come up with a cool name. It's like a vision bubble, a scrying circle. I don't know. What do we want to call it?
It feels more like he's scrying, but that would imply that what he's seeing is real. Makes me think. Okay, really weird that it makes me think of this because it's nothing like it. But what's that thing in Harry Potter that they put their face into? It starts with a P.
Oh, yeah. What is that? Where the memories.
Pen. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Discord, can you help us out with that? That's not coming to mind. You're right. It starts with
like a P. Pent or something.
Man, I cannot pull it out. And it's not coming to Discord's mind at the moment either. I mean, that's a throwback. That's a real long throwback now for us. Not as old as this book, of course, but we've been a little more returning to this book. Anyways, what does he see in this new black circle of vision? Well, this time he sees
the ladies. Egwene, Nynaeve, Elaine.
Yep.
But they're looking at a really big metal cage.
Not only do they look at it, they notice it's open, and they walk right inside. And then they go next step. They reach up to the spring and stuff that's holding the cage open, and they intentionally release it. So it drops.
Well, they sprung a trap.
They did.
And got trapped, because that's what happens when you...
This is what these girls do. And then he sees a woman with hair all in braids laughing at the girls. And then he sees another woman, all in white, laughing at the one in braids. And then the vision fades away as well.
So that was cryptic, and Perrin has no idea what it means, but it's not good.
Once again, he calls for Hopper, and this time, a response. Hopper appears, refers to Perrin by his wolf name, Young Bull, and again chastises him for being here. You're too new. You're too young. You should not be here. But he doesn't push him out of the dream right away. Perrin actually has the chance to ask some questions. He's like, I know I'm not supposed to be here, but it's important. I gotta know some stuff.
I need to know.
I'm waiting for you to sing that a little bit.
No.
Give us a little Mark Antony. Come on.
No, we're good. We're saving it for the musical episode.
You know the Discordians are gonna hold us to that. The musical episode.
Maybe that's what we need to do for episode 100.
Ooh, nice. We could play with that and have a lot of fun, my friend. A lot of fun. I think you've planted a seed we're going to have to germinate.
Or, maybe 200. I don't know.
Oh, no, I don't think Emmeline will stand for that one now. She says, what are we on now? This is number 76, by the way. So we have 24 episodes to prepare for Fantasy for the Ages, the musical.
Anyway, what's Perrin learned from Hopper?
Well, first of all, he learns that what he sees here, like those visions, well, he gets the clear explanation that what is real is not real here, and what is not real is real. I'm so glad he explained that.
Yeah, that makes no sense. But kind of.
We learn the wolves' names for a couple of our baddies. Baalzamon is someone they call Heartfang, and Lanfear is known as Moonhunter.
Gotcha, more names.
Yep. We also learn another term they have, something called the Last Hunt, and that it's coming, and Perrin needs to be ready for it.
I have to know.
You need to know.
Does the Last Hunt provide the meat for the Last Supper?
No.
I just wanted to.
No.
Anyway.
Perrin talks about the Gray Men. This is part of why he's here, the urgency, and the response from Hopper is, the not dead? The not dead are after you? So, okay, that's another term we get. Gray Men are called the not dead, which
Because they're
is interesting.
Dead.
They're not dead. Could use, like, zombie. We just call them not dead. And Dark Hounds. He also gets to, and yes, there's a Dark Hound in the area. And that one really gets a reaction out of Hopper. He's like, oh, Shadow Brothers. Oh, those are really bad. You need to flee. Flee, Perrin. Run away. Flee from them. And then Hopper helps Perrin flee. Boom.
So does Hopper actually, tell us anything beyond the name about these Shadow Brothers? Or just, the Shadow Brothers?
It doesn't tell us anything here, just they're really, really bad and you need to go now. And so he pushes Perrin right out of the dream. Bam.
This is one of those moments when I want to talk about it, but we're spoiler light, and I have to wait.
That's right, we can't. But we can tell our listeners you're going to learn more about Shadow Brothers later. More lore dump to come. Back awake in his room now, Perrin realizes there's a candle lit. I didn't light a candle. And then he's startled by Zareen, who's sitting just outside the light of the candle watching him. Woman, I sent you to your room. What the heck are you doing here?
Hey, Perrin, it's your fault for not locking the door. Or it's your fault for locking the door but not barring it because she probably knows how to pick locks.
Yeah, let's just admit, though, this is creepy. She shouldn't have just walked into his room and sat there and stared at him.
Definitely don't watch people sleep without their consent.
He wants to know what the heck she's doing, and she simply comments on things she's learned about him so far.
Starting with?
Okay, you're Taviran. You've got odd eyes that are apparently even better than a warder's, since Lan wanted you to come help him try to see things. Let's see.
Thanks for that one, Lan.
Gray men want to kill you.
Yeah, Gray men want to kill lots of people.
You travel with an Aes Sedai, a warder, and an Ogier.
Coincidence.
And you free Caged Aiel and kill White Cloaks.
Okay, the last one is, there's no answer, it just is.
Basically, with all of this she's pulled together about him, she's wondering who the heck he really is. I mean, what are you, the Dragon Reborn or something? And she says that like it's the most ridiculous thing in the world. And Perrin's just sitting there going, ay, ay, ay.
I like to think it's a great moment of, what are you, the Dragon Reborn? Wait, are you?
Even in the midst of all this, Perrin can't help thinking like a 20-year-old man. It strikes him again how beautiful she seems. Which, of course, makes him feel even more self-conscious, because he's only in his underwear. Pulls up those sheets a little more.
Okay, this is another one of those moments. Yes, for his country sensibilities, he's in his underwear. But, small clothes aren't small. You're fine.
Then as he thinks again about how beautiful she seems to him, his mind goes back to what Min had told him, that if you ever see a beautiful woman, run the other way. And he thought that it meant Lanfear when he saw her in the dream, the wolf dream, but that was just a dream. Here we're in real life, and he's with a really beautiful woman. Was she talking about Zareen? Is he supposed to flee?
Nah, Perrin, remember, you're fine. When you first met Fail, you were like, I don't know if she's pretty or not. And as much as that's not a cool thing to be considering, like, that just feels rude, probably means you're in the clear.
Well, it leads him to challenge her now. Basically, again, what do you want? Who are you? And she simply laughs at him. She says, I'm Fail, a hunter of the horn. And then she says the worst thing she could say right now. Who do you think I am? The woman of your dreams?
Yeah, don't mention dreams. I know that, like, you don't know that, but don't do that.
He physically jumps at that statement. She's like, what the heck, dude? And then they both jump when the door to the room slams open and there's Moraine, looking pale and grim, sharing the news that Perrin, your wolf dreams are speaking truly. The Forsaken are loose, and one of them is here ruling Ilion. End of chapter.
Well, shit.
I'm like, this is cinematic. This would have been the end of an episode and fade to black.
Maybe it will be.
And maybe it will be. But we're not that far in the TV series yet, which we will not talk about more yet today. Again, we've said. We have one more chapter. We've got to go right back onto it because that was a heck of a place to leave off.
Gotcha.
Chapter 44 is called Hunted.
Ah, so they are the horn.
They are the horn. Perhaps if they'd been in the room a little longer, but let's move on.
I didn't put a Y at the end of it, Dad. Come on.
Perrin leaps out of bed, gets dressed, doesn't care who's watching now, we gotta go. And he learns from Moraine, Samael is the one in charge here. The Forsaken Samael, and they must leave immediately if they don't wish to be caught.
Yes, Sammy is.
And
Don't
Moraine,
feed him green eggs and
call
ham
him,
or
did
something.
you call him Sammy? Did you call him
No,
Sammy?
I said Sam.
Really?
I said Sam. He is, as in like
okay.
I am Sam. Sam, I am.
I'm just wondering if my son's on a first name basis or even nicknames with a Forsaken now.
Oh, I mean, I already was ballsy. Come on.
Ballsy, Sammy. Let's see.
Okay, Evelyn, has it ever been in question that if any of us were going to be dark friends, it would be me?
My Dark Dar says yes.
Like, I don't like admitting that, but it's probably true.
Well, Moraine then goes ahead and does exactly what Lan had done before and says, Zareen, I'm going to give you one more chance, okay? This is serious stuff now. If you want to part ways, I'll understand. I will let you go. And I certainly won't now make you stay in Ilion. Not with a Forsaken in charge. You just need to swear not to follow us. Go your own way. Go your own way. And,
Go your own way.
thank you. And we will go separate ways here. Zareen's like, no. There's something going on here. I don't even care if you lead me to the Horn of Valir anymore. This is clearly something bigger, a story that's going to be told for the ages. I want to be a part of this.
Plus, I'm gonna be honest, again, feel like this is one of those moments where they give her an out, but they don't really give her an out, because at the moment when she's learning, hey, there's a Forsaken, you know too much.
You might be able to say that, but Moraine's not. She's not qualifying that as too much.
I think Moraine's smart enough, she knows Fael ain't going anywhere.
I want to drop, though, that Emmeline nailed this of what's going on, perhaps, in Zareen's head in what she dropped in Discord. This is Fael having FOMO. Totally.
I mean, she became a hunter for the Horn, and honestly, she's seeing this might be a better quest. This might be a bigger thing.
She's not going to miss out.
Maybe the Horn will just be a part of it.
That's right. Well, Perrin, he's like, are you kidding? You were just told there's a Forsaken basically after us. And you still want to be a part of this? Are you out of your friggin' mind? What's really going on? Why won't you stop? And Moraine cuts this off. It's like, we don't have time for you children to be bickering. We've got to go. Apparently, what has happened while these two were playing around in the bedroom, apparently Lan killed that Darkhound.
Okay, we may be spoiler light, but we don't have to be detail light. I mean, like, nothing happened.
But they were kind of playing around in the bedroom. And sorry, what Jordo dropped in Discord is hilarious. Not going to describe this one. Every time I see it, I start laughing again. That's
It's the
not
last
cool.
little bump that I see that really makes it.
I got to quit looking. It's bad. We're not going to describe this one. You got to be with us in the live recordings to get some of this goodness.
Become a patron and enjoy the wonderful gifts that get dropped.
My eyes are tearing up. This is good. So apparently Lan killed that Darkhound, and it had been sent by Lord Brend, that mysterious new one of the Council of Nine. That's Samael. So when Samael realizes his Darkhound isn't coming back, he'll put two and two together that there must be a warder in Ilion, because it would take a warder to be able to take out that Darkhound. And if there's a warder, there's an Aes Sedai, and he's going to come trying to find out where's the Aes Sedai, what is going on. And we got to be out of here before that happens.
So, like, I know Lan's a badass, but also, like, Darkhounds don't seem so bad if Lan can kill one.
I'm going to guess he got the jump on it. Remember, it was leaving the inn. Lan is tracking it now. It doesn't know he's coming. Bam.
I feel like Lan is the most certifiable badass, at least that we've met up to this point.
Thank you.
But he also is just Lan.
You can't say just Lan. Come on.
Well, yeah,
it's
but like
Lan.
He doesn't have magic powers. He just like slice and dice. So clearly
you
can slice and dice.
No, he was in full Batlan mode here.
I'm just saying it is capable to kill a Darkhound with nothing more than a sword and impressive ability.
Yes. However, it's very dangerous for reasons we cannot talk about yet because of spoiler light.
But we'll learn one day, maybe.
Indeed. Well, quickly enough, they're all outside the inn again in the pouring rain of a very stormy night. It was a dark and stormy night. Preparing to get on their horses and depart. And hey, we've got a horse for Fail now. Yay! Being in Perrin's point of view again, we see him still struggling with Zareen's decision to stay with them. What she said, just, FOMO, it doesn't make sense to him. This is too dangerous. Why would she insist on staying with them? Are there any other possibilities that come to mind to you, Zach, from things we maybe could have picked up on as a first-time reader?
While that might be possible, my biggest thing, to me, actually is just that this is a failing on Perrin's part of perspective. He can't see things from her point of view, only from his. And in his mind, it's crazy, so why would anyone do it?
Okay.
But I know you're fishing for something else, so go for it.
Oh, fishing? I don't know what you're talking about.
Sure you don't.
Moraine already told Perrin way back in the beginning, in that previous town when they first picked up Fail, Zareen, that, you're a good-looking young man. You shouldn't be surprised if someone, you catch someone's eye. It could be that she's just really more so latched on to Perrin because she thinks he's a hunk. That could be part of this.
Honestly, from my perspective, to think of the glory part is a better reason, but either are totally valid if that's what's her motivation.
Follow your heart. Follow your heart, Zach. Oh, that's right. You're more of a dark friend type. You wouldn't understand.
Just because I'm more of a dark friend type doesn't mean I don't follow my heart.
Well, again, they're here in the stable yard. Let's get back to business here. I mentioned Zareen now does have a horse. And Lan's like, so can you manage this? And she's like, I may have ridden a horse once or twice, and leaps onto the horse like she was born to it.
You merely adopted the saddle. I was born to it.
We see Moraine having a brief, terse exchange with Nieda. We hadn't named her before, but that's the proprietress of the inn, Nieda. The one who's also that eyes and ears spy type person in Ilion.
Wait, is proprietor a gendered term?
It is in the Wheel of Time, because the actual phrase is proprietress.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I could have sworn that was one that just, was gender neutral.
Nope. I mean, I'm sure you can use it that way.
My whole worldview has changed.
This is a different turning of the wheel, Zach. Perhaps they couldn't do it like that then. Anyways, without giving details to Nieda, Moraine is just emphasizing, girl, you gotta go. There's dangerous stuff going on here in Ilion. You and anyone you care about should leave pronto. And she's not getting the kind of response she thinks she should be getting. Moraine's rather frustrated that Nieda's kind of like, well, I mean, if you think, maybe. She just wants to slap the woman. Leave town.
It's really hard to get someone to, get up and leave everything that they've ever known and cared about because you say it's dangerous.
Now, this all shifts pretty quickly, though, to next level in emphasis because Perrin, he can't stay quiet. He talks next level here, where he says, so, Moraine, you said we need to go because Samael's going to figure out there's an Aes Sedai here is going to come looking into why his Darkhound didn't come back, but he already sent the Grey Men at us. Doesn't he already know we're here? And she's like, no, he didn't send the Grey Men.
Yeah.
Someone else sent them.
It's like, don't worry, Perrin. More than one person who belongs to the Dark wants you dead.
The Darkhound was Samael's, but yeah, there's someone else after Perrin. And Perrin's like, you gotta be kidding me. First of all, you're telling me the ones who all work for the Dark don't talk to each other? They're not on the same team? Come on.
Perrin, when was the last time you talked to half of your companions, even the ones you travel with? You really think the Dark does a better job at that?
But then Perrin goes a little further and he says, okay, so if a Myrddraal or another Forsaken sent the Grey Men, why? Why would anyone just want me specifically? There's nothing that important about me. Rand is the one who's the bloody dragon reborn.
Well, now you done and said too much.
Yep. Oops. There's an audible gasp out of both Zareen and Nieda, and Perrin's like, oh, crap.
On the bright side, I think Nieda's gonna leave now.
Yes, Nieda seems to think, maybe I should listen to Moraine's advice. And Moraine is basically, looking at them all, kind of daggers at Perrin, but it's also very clear now, Zareen, your chance to leave's done. That's it. That was the thing you could not know. There is a dragon reborn.
Apparently, you could know anything else, but now that you know that, it's not like people saw this person's face in the sky or anything.
She wasn't there for that.
No, but there's, been a while. News travels pretty fast.
Moraine throws just a little bit of a tantrum in some really harsh statements she makes at that point. So much so that Perrin is left wondering, whose side is she on? This is really angry Moraine. Like nasty evil Moraine. I don't like this.
Moraine's on the side of the light. That doesn't mean she's on your side.
With that, though, the party is off. It's time to go. The party's over. But this group, they're off. Leave the city. They're following a causeway straight out into the marshes that leave east of Ilion, so basically in the general direction of heading to Tyr. There's heavy rain that's been falling, which is good. It helps to cover their escape.
Cover the noise, cover the visibility, all of that.
Yeah, but as they get farther out, the causeway ends. It just becomes a road now, but at the same approximate time, the rain starts to fade away. Now it's just a really light, faint drizzle. And Lan's like, dang it. A good thunderstorm, he says, could have kept the Darkhounds away completely.
I have to wonder, is this tied to the Dark not liking water and all that stuff?
We don't know. Maybe. As it clears up, Lan's saying this only favors the Darkhounds following us. So we just gotta go. We can't do anything about the weather. We gotta go. But then, just after he's made that comment pretty much, they hear a howl. Oh, and then another, and Perrin's like, wolves? And oh, wait, those don't sound like wolves. And of course they're not. It's the Darkhounds.
They're wolf adjacent.
Multiple. We'd known of one, which Lan killed, but clearly there's more. There's a whole freaking pack.
But wait, there's more.
And after they chew all of you up, they'll still be able to cut through a tomato. That's a throwback if anybody has been watching TV as long as I've been alive. I don't know if that was relevant for you, Zach. I think it was.
I'm aware, but are you going to get me to continue referencing? No. I would be unable.
It has me kind of wondering. So I'm looking. Well, I can't find the right meme, but there's something there. We got our set of knives ready to go. Anyways.
Our second best knife.
They're going to run. They're going to flee. We need to get ahead of these, just keep going and going and we'll outrun these Darkhounds. And that is absolutely not what they do. Moraine and Lan actually slow down practically to a halt. And Moraine's just looking around now. Not looking for Darkhounds. She's looking for something. And Perrin's like, what are we doing? Lan explains. What are they doing, Zach? Why are they stopping?
Well, you gotta really realize you're not gonna outrun them, and even if you did, they're gonna track you. So you're screwed unless you find a place to take a stand.
Yeah, these are shadow spawn, and they're a very special kind. They don't need to rest. They don't need to sleep. Eventually, you will. So they will catch you, and when they do catch you, they'll drag you down. So as you said, they gotta find a way to make a stand and try to defeat these Darkhounds. Moraine points out a spot that you can see. A little mound, so a little elevation, and there's no trees anywhere near this mound. That's important because they'll have a view. They'll be able to see the Darkhounds coming before they're upon them. So they head up to this mound. Once they get there, Lan, Moraine kind of divide up into some tasks. Loyal and Zareen are giving the job of hold the horses.
Okay.
They don't like Darkhounds. If you don't hold on to these horses, they will be gone. Lan says, even my warhorse, Mandarb, he'll run. Okay? You must hold on to them.
And chances are, if they run, they won't make it.
And Zareen, she's like, I don't want to hold horses. I want to fight. And she's got her little daggers out. It's like, no, those will do you no good. Trust me.
They'll get you killed.
In fact, and he references his sword, and he says, this is a last resort. If it comes to me using my sword, we're probably all dead. Now, we know he killed one with a sword before, so there's something implied there that we don't fully know. And again, spoiler light, you'll learn more about that later, but you're not going to learn it right now. So what are they going to do? How are they going to defend themselves? Well, there's no further explanation there. Moraine's just standing, looking out into the darkness, waiting for the Darkhounds to come. We could assume, perhaps, that maybe she's going to do some of her fancy schmancy one power things. Maybe that'll work.
Maybe, hopefully.
But Perrin, he's like, okay, so Lan's sword, last resort, that means my axe probably isn't much good, but hey, I've got something else, and he pulls out his Two Rivers longbow. And he strings it, and he goes up next to Moraine, ready. Lan's like, not sure how much good that'll do, but what's the harm? Go ahead.
I'm a little curious, and I would love if any archery experts or just enthusiasts out there can tell me. I feel like when you've been going through a thunderstorm and then it's drizzling now, stringing a longbow is not the best idea. I could be wrong. But I feel like that's not good for the bow, right?
You are wrong. With the understanding that Perrin didn't have the string just out there getting wet. He had that protected from the moisture. Any good archer would know to keep the string from getting wet.
It's still drizzling some now, right?
A little, probably, maybe. But this is the moment right now. It's not going to be instantly worthless from the rain.
Gotcha. You just don't want it to sit in rain for a bit.
Jordo is pointing out the string is usually coated in a wax. We don't know if that's the case for what Perrin has, but it
Probably
can
is.
resist water for a time. So we should be okay. And certainly it's not going to impact Perrin in what he's about to try to do.
Gotcha.
So it's not very long before they do see Darkhounds. Not 2, not 3, 10. A pack of 10 Darkhounds, all galloping at them. And I say galloping intentionally because they're practically the size of horses, and they're moving as fast, maybe faster than a horse would be charging. He's like, holy crap.
It's okay. I stand by that all boys are good boys. Even if they're girls, they're still good boys.
Not this one. Not these. This is different. So Perrin, he's a well-trained Two Rivers archer. He takes his time, he watches the Darkhounds, and when they get to a distance he believes he can hit, which is actually 300 yards. So a good distance further than a typical archer would try. But he's got this Two Rivers bow. He lets it loose. And he's sure he hit one, but all he hears is kind of a "Argh!" little growl, a snarl. Nothing stops.
Oh, look, you made it angry.
He quickly pulls another one, pulls again, shoots again. This time one of them stumbles, clearly hit, but still doesn't go down. And now he's thinking, I've only got time for maybe one more.
Maybe he could take down one of the 10, maybe, if he's lucky.
And he does. Sends off that third arrow, pretty close distance, one drops. Only 9 to go.
Well, at least you made it so only 9 are going to kill you now, not 10.
Yeah, exactly. He's not going to be able to stop them. As he reaches for one last arrow and lets it loose, Moraine says, now, and releases a white-hot beam of something at the wolves. So bright, Perrin has to shield his eyes. And when he uncovers them, all 9 Darkhounds are gone. Like they never even existed. Moraine, she's looking off at Ilian, and she comments, hopefully we're far enough that Samael did not notice what I just did. What was it you did? And she says it's something forbidden, something not used in nearly 2,000 years, and in fact, just for knowing it, I could potentially be stilled.
What?
But she gives no more explanation. What did we just see Moraine do, Zach?
Am I allowed to say?
We have enough clues from things that other people have seen and talked about. I think you can.
Cool, it's balefire. She balefired them.
We've seen it in dreams.
What exactly that means, but
we saw Avienda talking about it. This is balefire finally in action. Yep.
This is the first kind of confirmed time we've seen it. Have we seen it before? Maybe.
A first-time reader might not realize it, but we're telling you that's what you just saw. There you go. If you think we spoiled too much,
sorry, kind of.
Tell us by email, social media, or join our Discord and say, what were you doing?
Yeah, anyway.
We now know Moraine knows the forbidden weave of balefire. And it just saved their bacon, because the Darkhounds are gone. Loyal suggests, so maybe we should get moving before Samael sends more Darkhounds? And Moraine says, that's unlikely. Even if he had 2 packs of Darkhounds, he would never send them both, because apparently Darkhounds are kind of ornery, and they would attack each other before following any mission. But she implies it would be rare they'd have more than 1 pack, so apparently there probably aren't that many Darkhounds.
I don't understand why there's like this assumption that 10 or I guess 11, because they killed one previously, is an entire pack. Maybe it was just a pack of 50 and he only sent some of them.
Yeah, I don't know if there's knowledge there about what is the typical size of a pack.
I have no idea.
But I think it's fair to assume he sent what he had. Regardless, Lan does agree. Loyal, your suggestion's probably a good one. We should get going anyways. But Moraine does try to calm everybody from being too worried, saying, this was like an opportunity thing here. If we were really Samael's target, he would have come himself. A Forsaken would have just come and dealt with us. Instead, he sent these hounds he happened to have on hand, just in case he could scoop up some others who were annoying him.
It's like, it'd be nice, but like, I don't really care. Which is kind of insulting, but also like, that's okay.
And Perrin's like, okay, so if we weren't his primary target, who is? Is it Rand? And Moraine accedes, yeah, it could be. Or perhaps Matt. I mean, he's also Taviran, and he's the one who blew the Horn of Valir. And I love this.
If Fael couldn't... if she
Serene's like,
wasn't
what?
already in too deep, she is now.
He blew it already? They've already found it, my whole mission. And you're telling me someone already has it?
Yes, you are correct. Matt blew it. That is
great.
Correct.
I loved that moment. With that, they continue on their way to Tyr. And that's where we leave this group, but the chapter's not done.
Oh, no.
Instead, we have a minor little add-on where we're jumping over to Matt's point of view. He and Tom still on the road from Erengil to Camelin. They're sitting around a fire. It's that same night. And they're still on the mission to deliver that letter from Elaine. And Matt is doing exactly what Eludra told him not to do. He's sitting there cutting open a firework. He wants to see how it works. When Tom realizes what he's doing, he's like, what the heck, dude? Are you trying to kill us? What Matt has found is inside this roll of paper is just like something like dirt, little tiny gray-black pebbles, kind of like dust.
Interesting. Don't put it in fire.
It's like, I have no idea how something like this could explode. And he just chucks it into the fire. And it doesn't explode, but it does like sparkles. Ooh, lights little sparkly.
It explodes just without the whole pressure part.
Tom is like, Matt, if I want to die, when I get to Camelin, I'll go pinch Morgase's butt, okay? I don't need you to be trying to kill me with your stupidness. Like,
I mean,
okay.
Yeah, he's right. He'd die.
Before they can argue more, they are interrupted by 4 strangers who call out a greeting as they ride up towards the fire.
Stranger danger.
One is a woman, well-dressed, and what appear to be her 3 male retainers. The men dismount. The woman asks Matt a seemingly innocent question. But within moments, the group is trying to kill Matt. One pulls a crossbow and shoots it right at him, and Matt just manages to dodge out of the way.
Gets lucky.
Tom goes Mega Tom. Fling, fling! And 2 of these guys are down with daggers in their chests.
Dagger, dagger, dagger.
Matt manages to take out the 3rd with his quarterstaff. We're familiar with him being somewhat effective with a quarterstaff. We will, as Jordo dropped in there, we will give a reference here to something in episode 3 of the TV series in a moment, because with the 3 guys down, it leaves only the lady, who clearly was in charge and wanted them to kill Matt, and she's now walking by herself, approaching Matt. And Matt's like pointing his finger at her, stop right there, we're gonna deal with you now, you're in big trouble, lady, and she's not stopping, and suddenly a dagger blossoms is the word that was used. Beautiful writing. Blossoms from her throat.
Thanks, Tom.
Tom threw his dagger right into her throat, just like was demonstrated in episode 3 of The Wheel of Time.
I'd like to point out, with angles and all the stuff and blah, 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 Tom not only is a very good shot, but he knows he's a very good shot. Because that kind of throw, that kind of angle, you miss, you hit Matt.
Yep, pretty much. But Tom never misses. And she falls dead. And Matt's like, what the heck? It was a woman. We could have just captured her, turned her over to the Queen's guards, reported what had happened, and Tom points out the dagger that's still in her dead hand. Mm-hmm. It's like, would you have preferred I waited till she stabbed you in the heart and then killed her?
Yes. No, maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, okay, you maybe have a point. And then Matt's like, so what the heck? Why are people still trying to kill me? And did you notice that guy with the crossbow? He's a really good swimmer. Tom's like, what? That's the dude that was on the boat down below when you threatened back in the river and he jumped out of the boat and swam for it and you said he's never going to make it? That was him. Same dude.
Must be persistent.
Yes. Why are they trying to kill me? What is in this friggin' letter? And Tom's like, no, seriously, I've looked at that letter for you. There's nothing there. There's no code. There's nothing to decipher. It's not about the letter, Matt. But Matt's sure. He's like, I know when someone's chasing me. And I don't have that much gold that they'd keep coming like this. It's got to be the letter.
And lacking perspective, they don't realize, that anything else could be an option. I don't know, maybe all the reasons to want you dead that would benefit evil people. Just throwing it out there.
As Emmeline says in Discord, it can't be anything to do with Matt.
No.
Nah. Well, they can't puzzle this out any further. It's not going to do any good. So off they ride, eager to get on to Camelin, be done with this business. This is the end of the chapter and the end of our content for this episode. But before we move on to the spoiler room, we have another Ask Zach and Jim question for today.
We do.
And this one comes from Jordo, and it's perhaps a teaser of something to come in a later episode. He wants to know what would be our top 3 musicals.
This is a really hard question for me, especially because I don't like picking favorites. So anything I do say will probably be things that I consider to be like top 3 of the moment. not necessarily forever. So while I try and nail down the third of my 3, I'm going to let you go first, Dad.
All right. Well, this is challenging for me too because I'm not super current on musicals. So my answers are going to be reflective of more of some of the older musicals as well as ones that I've personally performed in. You guys don't know this yet necessarily, but I was a drama minor in college. I've acted from high school and college through community theater and civic theaters over the years. I've done some actually fairly high-level stuff. I haven't done any acting in the last 15 years. Like, life moved on, I got involved with other things. But I love acting, and I've done directing as well. I've been involved with a lot of musicals. So what I've been involved with and performed in definitely colors how I feel as well. My top 3 musicals would be number 3, Phantom of the Opera.
Okay.
Wonderful music. Amazing production. Got to see it off Broadway. The sets, the music. Incredible. Second musical would be one I've never seen, but I know the music well, and I'm familiar with the story.
What's that?
Wicked. Wicked is a really entertaining musical. So, I like that one. If they go touring again someday, perhaps I'll get to catch it. But my favorite musical is one I got to perform in both in high school and then in civic theater with like a big budget and everything. We did a 5-week run of 26 shows, and it was so much fun.
What do we got?
Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
How did I know you were going to go with that?
That was such a great show, and still enjoy listening to the music of that one.
So the fun thing is, my 3 are going to not be any of those 3.
This does not surprise me. I know what one of yours is going to be, probably number 1.
I don't think you do.
And I don't like it.
I think I know which one you're talking about, and that's not actually going to be one of my 3 right now.
Really? Can I just say it now, though, and make people send us hate mail?
Hamilton is not in my top 3.
Yeah, I've tried to watch Hamilton. I cannot get through it.
I considered it, and I enjoy it, but it's not probably in my current top 3.
They talk too fast, and I can't understand the story.
I think it's really funny that you just can't follow it. Like, I will never, ever stop giving you a hard time about just not being able to understand what they're saying.
When it was televised and I kept trying to pause to ask questions, and then your sister got ticked that I kept pausing, and I was like,
you had
finally
to stop watching,
fine, and I just stomped out of the room.
She and Mom were giving you a hard time.
Anyways, what are yours, Zach?
I think I'm going to go with, starting off, and these are in no particular order.
Oh, come on.
The Lion King.
The Lion King?
Now,
the musical?
Yes. However, I have to throw in the caveat, it's because I've seen it in Hamburg, Germany, and they built an entire theater just for it, and it's one of the longest running things, period, and it is an amazing production.
Emmeline agrees with you there. I see that in the Discord. Don't you mean Hamburg? Since you were in Germany, you should say it the German way. Yes.
It does help if you understand German, but you don't need to.
I'm sure the Swahili sounds exactly the same in the German.
I will then throw that my next one is going to be Next to Normal. I don't know if you've even heard of that one.
Next to Normal is the name of a show?
Yes.
Yes, I haven't heard of that one. Discord?
It's the name of a very good show. If you haven't heard of it, I recommend go listen to some of the music. You don't have to necessarily see the show or something, but it's got some really good songs and some really beautiful messages throughout it.
We got nothing in Discord. They have no idea what this show is. Okay, we all have research to do now. Next to Normal.
But the final one that I'm going to say is just one that growing up, I always have wanted to be a part of it. I still kind of hope that someday I will get to be a part of this show. And that's Forever Plaid.
Oh, did you know I almost got a part in that show?
I know. You were like the 6th possible person to be in a 4-person show, so you didn't quite get it.
That's right. 4-person show. I got called back for callbacks, and man, almost got it. That is a fun show.
In my opinion, that's a show where people don't necessarily know it unless you really know musicals, but I promise you've heard bits and pieces of at least 1 or 2 songs here or there used in other things.
Yeah, Discord, if you haven't heard, and of course, you listening later, if you haven't heard of Forever Plaid, check it out. It's such a good show. Good music, too.
Now, if you're not sure you like musicals, I can give you other recommendations at other times for stuff that's just good, and things that maybe we'll revisit this question and I'll have different answers. But, these were my current top 3.
So they're getting a taste for the fact that they had no idea what they were asking for when they asked for the musical episode of Fantasy for the Ages.
It's a musical.
Zach and I have actually performed together in a musical in community theater. He was 3.
It was my first ever show. I was not 3.
4? You were 4?
4 going 5.
Okay. And he was adorable. He was the youngest kid in the show. I was one of the leads. It was my last show, actually. Wow.
I think so.
That was the last
Your
one
last
I've done.
and my first.
And it was his first.
Musical, at least.
And it was pretty awesome. It was fun. Carnival, name of the show. Not as well known. It's an old one out there. You can find it.
I don't love it.
They did a movie version once. It was fun to get to act with my son. And he's old enough at that point to still slightly remember it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, that's our musical answer. Jordo, you got some good stuff out of us there. Thanks for the question. We encourage anyone to join us in Discord. Jump onto our channel specifically for Ask Zach and Jim and toss whatever question at us that you'd like. And if we have something to say, we'll include it in an episode. Short of that, then, before we move into the spoiler room, we just want to remind everybody, as we said a few times, join us on Discord. There is an invitation link in the show notes here, and it's always in our Twitter bio. We'd love to have you be part of our community there and talk about all the things you like about fantasy and sci-fi literature. Got lots of good conversations going on every day there. You can also connect with us by email at fantasyfortheages@gmail.com and the usual social medias like what, Zach?
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. And if you're liking our content and want to support us more, or even join us live on Discord, become a patron, or check out our merch shop. You'll find links for that in the same usual places.
There you go. All right, we will wish Emmeline a goodbye now as we move into
the spoiler room. Ba ba ba.
If you're new to this is where Zach and I each take a turn to completely full spoil one thing from what we've covered in today's episode. So we roll a die.
I don't know if you can see it well, but this is my D20 of the day.
Oh, nice. Kind of like
it's quite
flames
pretty.
On the inside, yes.
Yeah.
And I'm using my assassination cube-ish
Chunky
die.
boy. Got it.
It's not a cube, but the one Zach gave me. It's very cool. I have to drop it on the floor because otherwise it put dents in the table.
All right.
Oh, yeah. I got a 16, baby.
Subtract 10 from yours and you get mine.
Nice. Okay, I'm going to full spoil Shadow Brothers. A little bit more here. Yeah, it's one we certainly alluded to. And just what we know of Shadow Brothers. Shadow Brothers are wolves who have been corrupted and turned into shadow spawn. So they're lost now. Wolves have an eternal life. They die, they go to the wolf dream. They get spun back out into the real world again and again and again. Wash and repeat, rinse and repeat, over and over. But sometimes they get caught and corrupted by the Dark One. And when that happens, they're gone. They're lost. Now they are this evil thing called Darkhounds. Shadows Brothers. And it's a great source of grief for the wolves when this happens. It's one of the worst things that can happen to a wolf. But they were wolves, and now they're these things.
Twisted, broken, and forever wrong.
Yeah. Also, we learn later in the series that they are extremely dangerous. They're not just hard to kill. What's particularly dangerous about them is if you come into close contact with them, their saliva is deadly. Their bite might hurt, but the saliva will kill you. You do not survive it. If you get a bite, you've got their saliva in you, and you die. There's no healing, there's nothing, you can't come back from this.
Except for the times that people do because things work out?
Well, this comes up particularly strong thanks to Balefire and a story there where Matt fights off Darkhounds, gets bit, gets saliva on him, and then Rand Balefires the Darkhound far enough back that the bite never happened, and Matt's fine. Otherwise, Matt's dead.
Since you technically full spoiled both Shadow Brothers and Balefire.
Balefire. You could talk more about Balefire, though. That's worthy.
I'm actually not going to bring my own separate whole thing. I'm going to tag on to what you said, kind of, which is to say I'm going past spoilers and into some hot takes and theories.
Ooh.
Because, hear me out, why can't we have Shadow Brothers, basically the same concept, that aren't wolves? Now, I'm not saying people can have this done, because for the most part, even if people are like spit back out and you buy into a whole like reincarnation of the wheel kind of thing, it's not the same as the wolves. The wolves have this whole, they're in the world and then they're in the wolf dream, aka Teleran Riyadh, and then they're back out and they are still constant. Okay, people don't have that. Got it. But some do. Specifically, at the very least, Heroes of the Horn. When they're not in the world, they exist in Teleran Riyadh.
They do.
So hear me out. Is it not possible that the Dark One could theoretically get his hands on a Hero of the Horn, corrupt in some way, in the same way that he does wolves, and make a dark hero of the maybe Horn?
I don't think so. I think they have a special insulation.
I feel like the Dark One is technically more powerful than the Horn, so, like, why not?
I think there's a special insulation from that happening. I think the Dark One, and we have this for clear, that Heroes of the Horn can be killed.
Yeah.
But I don't think they can be turned. I think they are protected from that, no matter what.
I don't know. I think this is a place where we might want to believe that, and we don't have any evidence to the contrary of it.
Evidence is important.
And so the only evidence that this can't happen is that it hasn't happened. And to me, that's not evidence. That's confirmation bias.
Uh-huh.
So why couldn't it happen and it's just very difficult and hasn't happened, or we haven't heard of it happening? I like to think maybe it could, and that's also kind of a terrifying thought, but is really interesting.
Jordo makes a good point in Discord.
He makes points, but they're not points that we could be sure. And to the last one, if you have to invite him in, I don't think the wolves are inviting him in.
The Dark One's a vampire. You have to invite him in. Okay, good spoilage. Thank you very much, Zach.
I've now effectively lost us listeners.
Now, I have something that came to my mind as you were talking that since Emmeline is gone, our first-time reader, I can go ahead and talk about now.
Oh, no.
And that's when I watched the last episode of Wheel of Time?
You can't say that now. We just have one come out right now.
Yeah, okay. Episode 4. Yeah, Jordo, we haven't watched episode 5 yet. That's coming. Gonna watch it later. Episode 4, when the Grinwell family is killed. And then Rand and Matt are leaving. And the doll falls to the ground. Do you remember the name of the doll?
No.
Birgitta.
Is that really what it was?
It is! I didn't catch it till the second watch.
It was
the first
hard
time
for me
I was
to
like, what was
hear.
that name? I didn't catch it. Second time
Granted,
I caught it, I was like, oh! And I saw it.
I watched episode
blonde
4.
hair, braid. It's Birgitta. And she keeps me safe when I sleep, is what the girl says. I'm like, oh! And I couldn't say
really
a
nice.
thing at all to your mother. She hasn't met Birgitta. She doesn't know any of this. That is so good!
Freely admit, if I had heard it the first time, I could not have reacted to it, considering I was watching with Rachel's parents. But hey, they're watching.
Rachel's parents are watching it? Way to go!
Yeah, her mom wanted to try it to see what are things that I appreciate and enjoy.
So are they turning cool, like your mother and I?
Who said they weren't cool?
Rach has been very impressed with us, which I take as in her folks aren't quite as cool.
I will not tell her parents that you just assumed that.
No, hey, I've met her mom. She seemed very nice. She was very involved back in high school in, forensics. That's not what you guys called it. It was
Debate, drama, and forensics.
It was just forensics. No, there was a different name, wasn't it?
DDF, Drama, Debate, and Forensics.
DDF. Oh, that was it, though. DDF. That's what I was trying to think of.
Anyway,
she was very cool. She was very nice, but Fantasy Geeks, not necessarily.
before we dig any holes for potentially if they ever listen, because I didn't think Mom would. I don't think they will either, but like I didn't think Mom would, and she is now. So I think this is a good place to end our episode.
I'll give one more Birgit mention, though. We were talking on Discord earlier today with a couple of our Discordians who are still working their way through the Wheel of Time, who haven't finished A Memory of Light yet. Like one who, that's the only thing they have left, and one who's partway through Towers of Midnight, and then we'll move on. And I'm like, oh man, you don't know about that thing that happens at the end with Birgit, which is so freaking cool.
I mean, it's not, and then it is.
I love that scene where she dies at the hand of the guy they so should have killed books earlier, but they didn't.
Yes.
And then the horn gets blown, and ta-da, there she is, standing over her dead body. And I was like, the first time I read that, I'm like, yeah! And then she takes him out, and it's just cool. That's a very good scene.
So either we're going to have a really long spoiler room this time, or some of that's getting cut. And I don't know which it is, but either way...
This is a really long spoiler room because it's still not as long an episode as some of the ones we've done. Again, your mother and I went through the first 2 episodes of The Great Hunt. The first episode was the one that went almost 2 freaking hours. We've not had an episode as long as that again. So, woo! But that's it for today. Indeed. So, thanks for being with us. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, Jordo, who stuck it out to the end. Emmeline would have, but again, first-time reader had to leave. We'll talk to you next time.